Next presentation from Alexandra Simmons. It's not Simons, is it? It's Simmons. Alex is originally from everywhere, but mostly San Francisco, and has lived in Wichita for almost 20 years. About 6 years ago, she found herself responsible for end-of-life care for a mother who had been less than caring throughout her life. Despite an extremely strained relationship with her mother, Alex has built a life that truly makes her happy. She has 2 adult children, wonderful friends, and a good career at a company she loves. And she does not have a college degree, and that didn't slow her down one bit. During her time in Wichita, Alex has led various secular and atheist groups. She will be getting her first tattoo in June. We're going to talk about that, Alex. Alex, let's hear from you. We're glad you're here.
Thank you. The word abuse is not always clear-cut. My childhood certainly wasn't all bad, so that's probably why, when it came time to take care of my mother with dementia, I found my mind at war with itself. I still hesitate to use the word abuse, even though that's what a friend called it when she just listened to voicemails my mother had left me. Her mom is schizophrenic and institutionalized, so I feel like I can trust her classification of abuse. I was torn between wanting to be a good person, not to my mother, just in general, and self-preservation. I was genuinely shocked when compassion won out over my sense of justice. We're supposed to walk away from abusers. The switch from being taken care of by someone to being their caregiver is a worldview flip that even people with normal relationships find difficult. The child must find their voice towards someone who gave them directions their entire life. Even though I have an incredibly loud voice with everyone else, finding the power inside myself to decide what was best for my mom when she could not was monumental. I'm an only child, therefore towards the end was the only caretaker of my mother, as my dad had passed several years before my mom. I had certainly seen the symptoms, but between my happily self-imposed distance and my dad's enabling of her pretending nothing was wrong, I missed a lot of important information. The progression of the disease in her was so incredibly slow, over a decade, that I had lulled myself into a sense of complacency that it would somehow always be this way, and I would never have to face it head on. My delusional bubble popped when my dad passed fairly quickly. I felt personally slighted by the universe until I remembered that almost no one gets their wish for the good person to stay around and the bad one to go early. I did try to put off my foreshadowed battle as long as I could. However, a year or two after my dad died, she caused several increasingly bad car accidents, and I decided she had to move near me. The first act of caring was much more motivated by concern for public safety than it was concern for her. It was a very clear-cut trigger, though. Not everyone is so lucky to have such an obvious tipping point for the need to take over care of someone. The only other path that I could see for my mom was the state placing her in a facility, and I was honestly on the fence about that. During the time she was living here independently, I saw her almost daily. I was constantly flip-flopping between competent caregiver and terrified child. I put my mom in an assisted living facility after landing barely on the side of self-preservation. A month in, they decided my mom's verbal abuse was enough. I was jealous of their speed and conviction, and they placed her at St. Anthony's, a behavioral health clinic for the elderly in Northeast Wichita that has since closed. After observing her, the doctors informed me of her likely undiagnosed personality disorder and decided, with my very much informed consent, that the best thing was to give her enough drugs to make her happy. She died a month later. I did not grieve. I'm not completely heartless, though. I cried when I lost my father and my cat. I searched and searched for other stories like mine and other people that were in my situation. I had a massive amount of support from friends, so I didn't feel alone in the caregiving itself, but I certainly felt alone when I couldn't find anyone to answer my questions of, am I doing the right thing? Am I bridging the enormous gap between what she wants and what I need to stay healthy? Anything less than perfection from that tightrope walk might get me institutionalized or might make her less than happy, which was absolutely not acceptable. I was frustrated frustrated that the Alzheimer's Association didn't have more information about taking care of a not-so-loved one. They made caregiving look like tampon commercials with smiling people and wildflowers. My anger at older generations sweeping situations like mine and emotional abuse itself under the rug is offset by the comfort of knowing that younger generations are speaking out about trauma and mental health. Hopefully this talk will become obsolete as refusal to get help for mental health becomes less frequent. I want to let you know that if you have a bad relationship with your parents, it's okay to feel anger, resentment, confusion, and frustration. It's okay to feel conflicted and uncomfortable about caring for someone who didn't care for you how they were supposed to. It's okay to give yourself space to set healthy boundaries and to give only what you can truly afford to give. Don't be surprised if your journey changes you. I felt like my IQ dropped 20 points in the 8 months I was actively taking care of her. It's surprising I can even give this talk because apparently I dissociated and I have huge blank spaces in my memory for those 8 months. I Googled, does stress make you stupid? And every expert on anything agrees that it does. I have obviously not healed my wounds, but I have learned from them, so I'm hoping to pass that knowledge along to you.